Our data is telling us that if we don't stop using cars in the next 24 hours, everyone on the entire Earth will disappear in one day. One day! Okay, and like I care, I could die right now. What's good, guys? It's your girl Faith, and welcome back to Faith Facts, where we talk about movies, TV shows, pop culture, and just life in general. And speaking of life, we're all gonna die. Well, at least someday we're all gonna die. And in the 2021 Netflix original Don't Look Up, everyone's gonna die at the same time in 6 months. And that is the premise of where our two main characters, Kate and Dr. Mindy, I forgot his first name, is Dr. Leo, let's call him Leo. Yeah, let's call him Leo. Where Kate and Leo are these two astronomers. One's a doctoral student and one is a doctor, who are trying to warn the world of this huge asteroid that is coming towards Earth. So let's get into it. We start off with our main character, Kate, with some really misfortunate bangs, looking at some astrology work as she is studying for her doctoral degree. And she finds an asteroid that is pretty close to Earth. So Dr. Mindy gets together all the students in his class and they start to calculate exactly how far this asteroid is. When they find out that it's really, really close to Earth and that it's going to impact in 6 months, that means that he starts freaking out. And so does Kate. But then they decide they have to go up to the higher ranks. So they contact NASA, who directs them to this organization. And they are directed to Professor Ogulong. The president calls him Ogilvy, so let's just call him Professor Ogilvy. So they inform Professor Ogilvy, who's like the head of this thing, about what's happening with this asteroid, and they decide that they have to go to the source to tell them about what's happening. They go to the president, and the president is played by the lovely Meryl Streep, and she, the character, is, how do I say this? A jerk. A total jerk. She does not listen to anything that they say. She smokes, which is one of her big platforms for her campaign. And she just all around rude to everyone, especially her chief of staff, aka her son, played by Jonah Hill. But after the president dismisses Professor Ogilvy, Leo, and Kate on saying that they'll look into it with the asteroid, they start to freak out. And then they decide to go to the press. So they go to this morning talk show hosted by these two. And I'm gonna be honest, pretty sure the internet really likes this scene, but I kind of hate this scene. Such a boring parody of all these pop culture / morning shows that come on cable TV that no one watches anymore. It's just a bunch of boring jokes that you can really predict, and I just didn't find it fun. I don't think you would either. Like, there's this one joke where Ariana Grande and Kid Cudi are playing these two celebrities that are like broken up, but they are back together, and they're broken up. And then Kid Cudi's character proposes to the pop star after they broke up for some really weird reason, because he like cheated on her or something. It's really not a good joke. Then when Kate and Leo, well, maybe I should call him Dr. Mindy, for character immersion. So Kate and Dr. Mindy go on to the show, and they're kind of trying to be calm about how serious this whole thing is. But the hosts are like downplaying it as just a little fun science fact. And then Kate starts to go off on everyone and basically says, "We're all gonna die, and you don't care." And everyone kind of takes it as a joke, and they kind of make a meme out of it. Which I know kind of sounds cringy, but this was the funniest part of the movie for me, when they made her a meme. But it's also kind of reflective of society as we know it. Because, of course, they would not take the lady seriously, and they take the hot professor, Dr. Mindy, more seriously. Even though he's not putting as much emphasis into how terrible this asteroid could be on this whole Earth thing. So after this whole montage of Dr. Mindy rising in popularity and Kate and Dr. Ogilvy not really being that popular, they meet with the president, and the president's like, "Okay, let's actually take this seriously and let's send a rocket to this asteroid to blow it up in space." And they do that, but just as this rocket is going out of Earth and, going into space, the president is called over by Peter, the guy from BASH, who's supposed to be like a Steve Jobs type. And they make a deal to not blow up the rocket on the asteroid, but instead let BASH make their own robots and send those to the asteroid to blow it up into smaller pieces that hit the Pacific Ocean, so that they can get all the sweet lithium and gold and diamonds and all those other metals needed to make phones in it, and they can make billions and billions of dollars. So of course Kate is furious with this argument, and she ends up accidentally saying it in front of a restaurant of regular people in Washington, D.C. So of course that starts a riot, and she gets arrested by the FBI, and she gets told to not appear in the press or anything else, and she's not allowed back in the White House and all that stuff. So she goes home to Illinois, where her parents have totally disowned her, and she gets a job as a grocer. Here is where she meets this cool skater guy, played by Timothy Chalamet, named Yule, and they almost instantly fall in love. But I think it's more of a, whatever, we're about to die, than a love thing. Back with Dr. Mindy, he is still rising in the ranks, and he is still cheating on his wife with this morning news lady. But after things are starting to go by, months are going by, and nothing is being done about this asteroid, he kind of snaps on TV and goes the "we're all gonna die" kind of route. And he, of course, gets arrested by the FBI, and they tell him not to, do press things anymore. And, of course, the morning news lady kind of breaks up with him. But not before they are confronted by Dr. Mindy's wife, who kind of throws prescription bottles at him. Like, "Do you want to take care of him? Then sure, you could take care of him." Now Dr. Mindy's at his lowest point. He has no one. No Kate, no Dr. Ogilvy, no his wife, no morning news lady. He's just by himself. So he decides to go back home to Michigan. But as this all is going on, the asteroid is finally being able to be seen with your regular eyes in the sky. So, of course, the Look Up campaign is promoted by Kate and Dr. Mindy, even though they're not supposed to be talking to the press. They start the Look Up challenge on social media, along with Ariana Grande's character Riley and Kid Cudi's character DJ. At the same time, the Don't Look Up campaign is started by the president. So that's that. And, it's a political thing now. But then at the End of the World concert, where, beautiful song, I love this song that she sings, that Ariana Grande, of course we know, she's got vocals and makes it really sound good. But then it kind of gets funny at the end and kind of morbid and dark because people are about to die. So then on the last day before the asteroid is about to hit Earth, the president and Peter go to BASH, and they send out these little robots that are supposed to break this asteroid apart, but that isn't working because all the robots are getting mixed up and crashing into each other. And meanwhile, Dr. Mindy realizes what he needs to do. He realizes that family and friends are what really count, and he wants to spend his possibly last few hours with them. So he picks up Kate and Yule and they go to the grocery store of all places. They don't even try to advocate for, something to be done about this asteroid. And then he picks up a bouquet of flowers and they go back to his home, and he kind of half-heartedly apologizes to his wife, and she takes him back before telling him that she also cheated on him at one point. So now Dr. Ogavong also shows up and he says, I don't have any family to go to. You're my family now. So they all sit down and have this beautiful family dinner, all while the bash plan is going awry. So then Dr. Mindy gets a call from the president saying, hey, we have an escape pod for it that doesn't work, and you and your lovely wife should definitely join us. And Dr. Mindy is like, oh no, you're not doing this again. I'd rather spend my time with people I like. Goodbye. And that's what he does. And then as the asteroid is hitting Earth and the winds are surging, the power is going out, and everything is happening around them, they are finishing up their meal, and in the end, Dr. Mindy says a really, really profound line. We had everything. And then it all goes in slow motion as the windows break behind them, the power goes out, and this big gust of wind goes by as they show everyone's face, and then black. Because we know that they're all dead. So is everyone else on the world, or in the world, because the president and a whole bunch of other billionaires and Peter himself were sent on an escape pod into space. And then, the end credits roll. But right before that end credits start, we see 22,000 years into the future, where Peter and all those other billionaires and the president are off of their Earth pod things in their escape pods, and they're back on Earth. And then they're kind of back on Earth 2.0, which now has dinosaurs. And then the president walks up to this dinosaur and just gets immediately beaten up by this dinosaur. It's almost funny, but it's also not. And that's the end of the movie. But one little thing that people have seen it that probably kind of went over their heads is that if you watch all of the credits all the way to the very end, you get to see Jonah Hill's character. It's the last man on Earth, and he does his vlog like saying, hey, last man on Earth. It's super funny, and Jonah Hill was honestly the best part of this whole thing. So yeah, that's what it is. The whole point of this whole movie is to replace the word asteroid with climate change, because climate change is real and it is happening, and if we don't do anything about it, we're all going to succumb to, climate change. So hopefully this video encourages people to do something about climate change. I know it's not just I know that fixing climate change is not just an individual thing, and there are huge companies, organizations, and governments that also kind of don't acknowledge climate change as a real thing and do things that harm the environment. But when you have the chance, ride a bike, recycle, reuse things, use sustainable things, and just, keep living your best life. That's all I can really say. But hopefully this whole movie has encouraged people to kind of speak up about the problems that our world faces, especially environmental ones, and encourages us to be better people. Even though the production of this movie probably helped move along climate change and make it, even more big. Well, that doesn't matter. Before you go, we have a faith fact of the day. I'm trying to include more faith facts at the end and the beginning of videos this year, so hopefully this one is really fun. At the beginning of the movie, Kate's character asks, what is the ephemeris of this asteroid? And the definition of the word ephemeris is a table of data file given. The definition of ephemeris is a noun, which is a table or data file giving calculated positions of celestial objects at a regular interval throughout a period. Example sentence is, you can compute an ephemeris from any comet that is discovered and plot an accurate finder chart. So that's those pictures that she was talking about, in the beginning. That's the ephemeris. So hopefully you're a little more smart, conscious, and a little entertained by this. That's it for this video, and next week we're going to do a little bit of a rant style video on Valentine's Day. I hope to see you there, but first you have to subscribe to Faith Facts. I love you guys so much for watching. Love, 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 and I will see you later. Bye.